tell me. You better knock that off before you're 14.
I did knock that off before.
14. I think you might be 14. Well, then what happens?
And you have to call your mom.
Man, are you kidding me? Well, he is bad at soccer. It's a free country. Can't I express myself? Why? So you can think it, but don't have to say it. Why? It's rude. Not that rude. Now, if he says it, you think maybe I might stop?
Yeah.
Yeah, good job. Very nice. Well, you can use your own words. This is just an idea of what you can say. You can use your own words, okay? Now, here's another thing, guys. Let's try, I need some girls for this one. All right, who hasn't had a second turn? If you've had 2 turns, put your hand down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Come up here. All right, 3 of you on one side, and 3 on the other. All right, go over here a minute. Now, we're going to talk about how to deal with backstabbing, gossiping, and rumor spreading. So I'm going to be the mean girl at the lunch table. These are my friends at the lunch table. Let's pretend there's this girl in our class named Sophia. There isn't, right?
No.
So I'm going to talk trash about Sophia behind her back, and you guys are going to get me to stop. This is great for anything that's it's not direct, because I'm not saying it directly to Sophia. It's indirect, but it's still mean. Would you agree?
Behind their back.
It's behind her back. So look over here. And these are all the strategies you guys are going to practice. And there's more than one. There's more than one way to do this. So, the first thing, you guys, back up so they can see. First thing you're going to do is you're going to all act surprised at what I'm saying about Sophia, and you're going to politely disagree with me. I want you to say things like this. Huh? Really? You think that? Oh, I don't think that. I like Sophia. Oh, I like what she had on the other day. I'd wear that. Or, she's pretty cool when you get to know her. Or, nah, she's really nice. I like her. I disagree. So in a nice way, in a polite way, just disagree with me about Sophia. Let's all try this. All right, you ready? Here we go. Back up so they can see. I think Sophia is really ugly and stupid, and she dresses funny. You like what she has on? You think she's great? Really? Now, if you do that, you think maybe I'm going to stop talking about her? That's one really good strategy, is politely disagree. Now, here's another one you guys could try. One of you, I don't care which one, can just interrupt me as I'm starting to talk about Sophia, and change the subject. And it can be anything. What you did on spring break, what you're going to do for Easter. You can talk about the weather, snowing in April. You can talk about whether you love or hate Lady Gaga. You can talk about whether you love or hate Justin Bieber. You can talk about what's for lunch because I'm hungry. It can be anything. Talk about what your favorite ice cream cone is. All right? So who wants to try to interrupt me? All right, you want to try? Now, listen to me, guys. She's going to try to interrupt. You guys have to jump into whatever she changes the conversation to. Now, don't look at me when you change the subject. Look at them. Because if you're looking at me, you're asking me for permission to change the subject. Don't ask me for permission. Look at them. Guys, you got to back up so they can see. They can't see. All right, you ready? Here we go. I think Sophia is such a loser. I mean, seriously.
I'm gonna have an Easter egg hunt at my house.
Really?
And
When
I'm
is
gonna
it?
have a birthday party for you. I paint eggs.
You were painting eggs? And see what you just did? I started talking about Sophia, and now we're all talking about Easter. Is that better?
Yeah.
Now, if you change the subject, do you think maybe I'm going to understand you guys don't really want to talk about Sophia? Yeah. So that's another strategy. Here's the third strategy. This one's called the awkward silence. This is what I want you to do. All of you look at me with your best poker face. No, don't. You're looking at me with your poker face. You're going to wait 10 seconds. You're not going to say anything. You're not going to smile, and you're not going to nod. Because if you're smiling and nodding, are you agreeing with me about Sophia?
Yeah.
Don't do that. Look me right in the eye like this. Don't sway. Because swaying makes you look weak. Just look at me like this. And then after 10 long seconds, I want you to say, awkward. And then after she says awkward, I want you to say, yeah, that was totally awkward. Let's try this. Just stare at me, don't smile. And don't sway and don't hang on. Don't go like this because that makes you look nervous. Relax your hands. You guys have the power. There's strength in numbers. All right, back up so they can see. All right, here we go. Here we go. Back up this way a little bit. All right, here we go. I think Sophia is really a freak and a loser, and that she dresses like my grandma, and I don't like her, and when she comes back from being sick. Now, if you say that, you think maybe I might stop talking about Sophia?
Yeah.
Good job. Now, here's another strategy. This is called the group shutdown. We're going to skip this one. This is for the older kids. But we're going to do this one. This is called the group shutdown. You're all going to say something to me like, that was mean, that was rude, can't believe you just said that, that was unnecessary, what'd that do for you? I thought she was your friend. Really? Seriously? Wow. Or I hope you don't talk about me like that when I'm not around. All right, everyone's got to say something. Here we go. I think Sophia is a freak and a loser, and I don't like her, and I don't want you guys to be friends with her.
I thought she was a friend. I hope you don't talk about me when I'm not around.
Don't smile at me when you say it, though. Say it with your poker face on. Don't touch your, yeah. All right. So if you all say something like that to me, think maybe I might stop. Now let's pretend for a minute. Let's pretend that she's Sophia. It is never a good idea for any of you to come up to her later after I said this at lunch and say, oh my gosh, Sophia, I totally have your back on this one. You're never going to believe what she said about you at lunch. Do you really have her back when you're telling her all the mean things I said about her? Should you keep your lips zipped? Now, what if you don't tell her, but you tell one other girl? Each of you tell one other girl. Now, 12 girls know what I said about Sophia. Do you think by the end of the day, Sophia's going to know? Is someone going to blab? Yeah, so you got to zip your lip. You can't tell anybody. All right, you all sit down. Now, I need another volunteer. Who hasn't had a second turn? All right, pull it. So, here's the thing. Yes. Let's say that he rides the bus. On your bottom. Guys are on your bottom. Let's say he rides the bus, and do you ever ride the bus with the 5th and 6th graders?
No.
Okay, but do you ever ride the bus with other 4th graders? Okay, so let's say there's a 4th grader on the bus who's a lot bigger than him. Maybe the 4th grader's almost as big as me. And lately, this 4th grader's been really mean to him. And this 4th grader, he's been throwing spitballs in your hair. He's been calling you names like loser and freak. He's been trying to trip him every time he walks down the aisle. He's been doing it for 4 days straight. All right? And I've been watching this 4th grader do this to you. And you haven't done anything about it because you're afraid. Can I do this up on the bystander? Watch. We're coming into school. He just did it to you again. Walk that way. Watch. Hey, aren't you sick of that Bob guy, that 4th grader? Aren't you sick of him? He keeps pulling your hair and he's trying to throw stuff at you and he keeps tripping you. I'll go with you if you want to report it to someone. You want to go tell someone about it? Come on, let's go. If I go with him to report it, do you think maybe he might be more likely to get some help?
Yeah.
How many of you ever offered to go with a friend to report something that keeps happening over and over again? And what if he says, no way, Bob's my neighbor, he lives 2 doors down from me, he's going to pound me. And he says, I'm not saying anything. Should I just allow him to be abused on the bus?
No.
Should I go tell the teacher what's going on?
Yes.
All right, so this is what you're going to do. If you're going to report something, you got to do it the right way. So you can sit down. Look here a second. This is what you have to report to the teacher, and you do it quietly and privately. You don't go, teacher, 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 like that in front of everybody. This is not a good time to report something. Let's say that I'm going to tell what happened to him on the bus with Bob. What's that kid's name? Dustin. Okay. So, no, you're not Bob. All right, sit on your bottom. All right. So, this is not the right time to do this. Let's say all of you are doing seat work. And I come up while you're all doing seat work, and I go like this. I want to tell you that Bob has been really mean to Dustin on the bus. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
So now how many people know that I reported this? The entire class. So that's not a good time to report to a teacher. It has to be one-on-one, So maybe during recess or right before or after lunch maybe. Or maybe I come first thing in the morning and tell you, or right after school and tell you. So it's private. You know what I mean by private? That means no other listening ears are in on it. So this is what you're going to tell the teacher in this private conversation. It's called the 5 W's. Look here a minute, guys. Who did it? So who did it? Bob. What happened? What did Bob do? He tripped him. What else? He pulled his hair. He was putting spitballs in his hair. What else was he doing? Calling what? Yep, he was calling him names. When did this start? How long has Bob been doing this? 4 days. Yep. And where did this happen?
On the bus.
On the bus. What number bus?
Thanks, Dustin.
7.
Let's say 7. All right. And then the last W are the witnesses. These are the bystanders who saw and heard what happened. Because usually when some mean thing happens, there's a lot of kids who see it. So witnesses and bystanders, they mean the same thing. So you saw it, and 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 you saw it. So you guys, no, you're not Bob. All right? You guys were the witnesses that saw Bob do this to him. So then when I go to the teacher, I'm going to name all of you that you were on the bus and you saw it too, because then if Bob lies about it and says, I didn't do that, do we have witnesses that saw him do it?
Yep.
So let's say this with me. Who?
Who?
What?
What?
When?
When?
Where?
Where?
Witnesses.
Witnesses.
Who, what, when, where, witnesses. Same with me.